When I found out my husband had planned a secret romantic dinner, I booked the table right next to theirs. I wasn't alone. I brought a witness with me. In the glow of the candlelight, the truth was finally exposed. When I saw the reservation confirmation on his phone, table for two, candlelight tasting menu, my hands didn't shake. Strangely, I didn't feel angry. A cold, hollow space simply settled in my chest. The name read, Lena. The restaurant, Harbor and Ash, the same place where we shared pasta on our 10th anniversary because our credit card was maxed out. In that very moment I booked the next table. I wasn't alone, I brought a witness. In the glow of candlelight, faces were revealed. My name is Kelly. I live in a small apartment south of Denver where the heater never quite works right and the rent goes up every year. I work the front desk at a dental office, where I spend my days checking insurance claims and noticing people's debt more than their teeth. Last year my mom had hip surgery. The medical bills are still tucked under a magnet on my fridge. My husband, Mark, lost his construction job last fall. Since then he's been staying out later as if the walls of our apartment were asking him questions he didn't want to answer. When I made that reservation I wasn't thinking about drama. I just needed to see the truth with my own eyes. I called Leanna, Mark's sister, to come with me. We've never been especially close, but she believes in straight lines and straight answers. When she picked up she said, "Tell me where and when." Her voice carried that family toughness, but that night it was on my side. The moment we walked into Harbor and Ash, I recognized the scent, garlic, butter, and the faint bitterness of expensive wine. Small candles flickered on every table, light drifting through polished glasses. We sat just a few steps away from theirs. I wore a simple blue dress, the same one I wear to job interviews. Leanna had on jeans and a black top. She closed her menu and asked quietly, "You sure?" I nodded. "I need to see it." When Mark walked in he wore a smile I hadn't seen in months. Beside him was a woman in her early 30s, light blonde hair, phone in hand as if she were cataloging the world. She laughed easily. Mark pulled out her chair, the same small thoughtful move he used to make for me. Nothing shattered inside me, it just shifted like my heart stepped aside to protect itself. Leanna leaned toward me. "That's Lena. You know her. She works at the bank. Mark's been asking her about small business loans." I closed my eyes for a second. So it wasn't just about love or attention. It was about money too. I motioned for the waiter. "Could you send that bottle of house red to that table?" "From Kelly." He blinked then nodded. When the bottle arrived, Mark read the card. His face drained of color. He turned his head slowly and our eyes locked. The moment didn't last long, but it was enough. I stood and walked to their table. "Hey," I said evenly like I'd run into them at the grocery store. Leanna stood just behind me. Lena looked me over. "Hi." Mark stammered. "Kelly, I lifted a hand. "It's fine. I just wanted to meet the woman who thinks my husband is single." The clink of silverware cut through the silence. Lena straightened. "Mark told me you two were separated." "We're not," I said gently but firmly. "We're broke. We're exhausted. But we're not separated." Leanna stepped in. "Mark, you've been asking Lena about loans while telling Kelly you're out looking for work?" Mark stared at the table. "I was trying to fix things. I thought if I could start something." "By starting with a lie?" I asked quietly. Lena pushed back her chair. "I don't date married men. Especially not ones who can't tell the truth." She slipped on her coat. Before leaving she looked at me. "You deserved to know." Then she walked out. Mark looked up at me and for a second I saw the 20-year-old I married. "I messed up," he said. "I was embarrassed. I didn't want you to see me fail." I listened, but in my mind numbers kept running. Rent, mom's bills, my overtime shifts, his excuses. "Embarrassment doesn't buy groceries," I said softly. "And lies don't fix anything." Leanna touched my arm. "Kelly, you don't owe him a speech." I returned to my table and took an envelope from my purse. Inside were documents I'd gathered over the past week. Our joint account statements, a copy of our lease, and paperwork confirming the separate bank account I opened that morning. I placed the envelope in front of him. "I'm not here to scream," I said. "I'm here to be clear. I'm opening my own account. I've spoken to the landlord about renewing the lease in my name. You'll need to figure out where you're going to stay." He looked stunned. "You're kicking me out?" I shook my head. I'm choosing myself. We didn't make a scene. No one clapped. No music swelled. Just quiet understanding. Leanna stayed beside me while Mark sat there, staring at the envelope like it was written in a language he couldn't read. That night when I got home and closed the apartment door, everything looked the same. The faint rattle of the heater, the hum of the fridge. But I felt different. Lighter maybe. Or steadier. I called my mom. She didn't ask for details. She just said, I raised you to be brave. The next day at the dental office, I spoke with Dr. Harper about picking up more hours. He nodded. We can make that work. It wasn't a miracle. It was paperwork, scheduling, small adjustments. Real life. 2 days later, Mark texted, Can we talk? I replied, Not tonight. For the first time in months, I felt calm. Not because things were fixed, they weren't. There would be debt to untangle, loneliness to face, maybe even divorce papers to sign. But I had seen the truth in candlelight. Faces had been revealed, especially my own. I wasn't the woman who quietly breaks. I was the one who books the next table and brings a witness. The one who sits across from the truth and doesn't flinch. The one who opens the door for herself and walks through it, even if the hallway beyond is cold and uncertain. And somehow that felt warmer than any apology ever could. If this story moved you or reminded you of your own strength, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more real, powerful stories like this. Your support truly means everything. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this journey with me.